Bartholomew was a vampire. He lived in a cozy, cobwebby castle on a cliff, and he did all the usual vampire things. He slept in a velvet-lined coffin. He had a pet bat named Squeak, and he thought garlic was simply dreadful. But Bartholomew was also terribly lonely. The other vampires were too gloomy, and the humans in the nearby village were too sunny. They'd see him flit past and shout, "There goes that odd vampire! Quick, someone check the garlic bread!" So, Bartholomew spent his nights wandering the cliffs, listening to the crash of the waves below. He loved the sea. It was dark, deep, and mysterious, just like him. One night, during a full moon that shone like a giant pearl, he saw something extraordinary, a flicker of silver in the waves, followed by the most beautiful singing he had ever heard. It wasn't a scary siren song. It was a happy, bubbly tune that made his undead heart feel a little warmer. He crept to the edge of the cliff and peered down. There, sitting on a rock, was a mermaid. But she wasn't like the mermaids in storybooks. Her hair was as black as a midnight sky. Her skin was pale like moonlight, and her shimmering tail was the deep purple of a twilight sky, dotted with specks that glowed like tiny stars. She was singing a little song to a confused-looking crab. "Oh, little crab with pincers snappy, why do you look so very unhappy?" Bartholomew was fascinated. He forgot to be shy. "Hello," he called out, his voice a little rusty from lack of use. The mermaid gasped and dove under the water. A moment later, two curious violet eyes peered back at him from the surface. "I'm sorry," Bartholomew said. "I didn't mean to scare you. It's just your song was lovely." The mermaid swam a little closer. "You're a vampire," she stated, "not scared, just curious. You're not supposed to like the sea. You're supposed to like dungeons." "I like both," Bartholomew admitted. "I'm Bartholomew." "Who are you?" "Coralie," said the mermaid. "And I'm not supposed to be here either. The other merfolk think I'm strange. I don't like singing shanties about sunken treasure. I like the quiet of the deep and the glow of the moon. They say I'm too gloomy." Bartholomew's face broke into a smile, showing just a hint of fang. "I'm gloomy too." And so, an unlikely friendship began. Every night, when the moon was high, Bartholomew would fly down to the same rocky shore, and Coralie would swim up to meet him. They discovered they had so much in common. They both thought the best time of day was night. They both thought a glowing jellyfish was more beautiful than a sparkling diamond. And they both thought a good friend was the best treasure of all. They played games like Count the Bats, which Bartholomew always won, and Find the Shiniest Shell, where Coralie was the champion. He taught her how to speak a little bat, and she taught him the names of all the glowing fish in the Midnight Zone. But there was one problem. Bartholomew couldn't swim. His heavy vampire cape would drag him right to the bottom, and Coralie couldn't come on land. Her beautiful tail was useless on the rocks. They were forever separated by the water's edge. One evening, Bartholomew had an idea. He flew back to his castle and rummaged through his attic until he found what he was looking for, an old, empty treasure chest. It was a bit rusty, but it floated perfectly. The next night, he presented it to Coralie. "Your chariot, my lady," he said with a flourish. Coralie clapped her hands with delight. Bartholomew carefully pushed the chest into the water. He climbed inside, sitting upright like a captain in his ship. Coralie, with a powerful flick of her starry tail, pushed the chest from behind. They went on grand adventures. They explored sea caves that glittered with crystals, visited gardens of waving sea anemones, and raced with playful dolphins under the stars. Bartholomew, in his floating chest, and Coralie, swimming alongside, were the perfect team. They weren't a vampire or a mermaid anymore. They weren't gloomy or strange. They were just Bartholomew and Coralie, best friends who had discovered that the very best kind of magic isn't flying or swimming or glowing in the dark. It's finding someone who loves the night as much as you do. The end. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.